If you like to laugh, and who doesn't, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to My Funny House with the Powell brothers. Frank Powell is a real estate broker who was born and raised in San Diego, along with Frank's brother Mark, a real estate broker who also lives in San Diego. Each week, the Powell brothers bring in a special guest comedian to share hilarious real estate stories so you can learn what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership. So now, let's get into it. With My Funny House, here are your hosts, Frank and Mark Powell on The Answer San Diego.
Good morning, San Diego, and welcome to My Funny House. Frank, what a beautiful day. Oh, I just said Frank. Let me introduce my partner, my best friend, my brother, and also a real estate broker, Frank Powell.
Did you say your name yet? Mark Powell? I don't even remember.
I forgot.
Yeah. Let's say your name. Okay. That was Mark Powell. That's my brother partner. You're at My Funny House with the Powell brothers. Here, I'll catch up. And I'm his brother, Frank.
That's a second senior moment of
you've been doing the senior moments. Well, okay. Hello, San Diego, and another beautiful Saturday. It's nice in San Diego. That's why we live here, and that's where we're not going ever. We're not leaving no matter what, okay? So in studio, we have Jesse Egan.
But who else do we have? You forgot.
Well, hold on. I'm going to get to Maria next, and let me do a little bit different. My God, let's start over.
We're having issues with the intros today.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start at the beginning. Okay, our sister from another mister, we have Maria Herman. Herman, okay. She's in the background and in studio.
Here's Mark, and here's Frank, and here's Jesse. We're all here.
Right. Well, we should just have Maria say that. That'd save us 25 seconds.
That would have been quicker.
Jesse Egan, he's in studio with us, a very funny comedian. Thanks for coming on board again.
Thanks for having me.
Joining us again. We liked him so much, we kept him. Yeah, we brought him back.
Glad to be here. I don't know real estate, but I am a broker. So we can do this.
Yeah. We're the brokers that'll make you broker.
Who's broker? So today, we are going to be talking about the longest real estate form in a transaction.
That's what you sent me, this giant document?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's actually 14 pages. It's called the Statewide Buyer and Seller's Advisory. This is an extremely important form that needs to be filled out by both the buyer and the seller. There's so much information on here that it's required by all of us to fill it out.
Has anyone ever read one of these?
No. I have. No.
The whole thing?
I
read the whole?
Yeah, we've read everything.
There's not like a Cliff Notes on this?
No, my goodness. I know. Like Statewide Buyers and Sellers Advisory for
I've read
dummies.
it 1,000 times.
Wow.
No. Yeah. But I'll tell you what it outlines. The first part of it outlines the buyer's rights and duties and the seller's rights and duties. Frank, what are some of the buyer's rights when they're going to purchase a house?
Well, they have the right to do inspections. They have the right to make sure the house is solid. They have the right to enter the house. They have the right to make sure it has a clear title and who's selling it. And that's part of what we do, investigate. But the bottom line is they have the right to conduct inspections because it used to be in the old days, buyers beware. They didn't know what they were buying. And that's basically why these laws
What's an example of an inspection that you might consider?
Well, you always want to do a home inspection. So the home inspection is an overall inspection of the entire house.
You fellas read people their rights as
You have the right to remain
for a home
silent.
inspection. You have the right
choose to
not
waive
remain
that
silent.
right.
No, they can't remain silent. You got to. That's another thing. That's what a seller has to do is they have the right not to remain silent. So if a seller knows about an issue in the house, they have to disclose it. Well, they should disclose it because if they don't disclose it and it comes up later, there could be some legal repercussions from that.
So they do not have the right to be silent.
Right. Yeah. What if I decide that I'm going to sell my house, and but I'm going to leave my husband in it? Do I have to let them know that?
That's an important disclosure.
I looked through everything. There's nothing that mentions
it depends
that.
if he's dead or alive.
Where's the section on husband's rights?
Yeah.
Exactly. We found something in the closet.
Yeah, or something in the freezer.
Yeah.
Buyer beware.
Yeah. So the seller has rights and the seller has duties, but also the broker has rights and duties. And the broker has the right to market the house, show the house. These are all agreed upon rights because without being able to show or market the house, with the seller helping, how are you going to sell it?
We've had that before. Remember, Mark, there's certain clients that we've had that we go, hey, we have a client that's here for one day. He looks like an old cash buyer. He has to come on Saturday at 12. And then the seller will say, no,
Oh yeah.
I don't want to
That's
do that
horrible.
this weekend. Call me next week and just hang up on us.
Oh, the seller.
The seller.
Yeah,
Oh,
sellers can
yeah.
do that. But you know what's really hard when you have a renter in there and they don't want to move, and
Well,
they'll
so-
say, I don't want to show this house.
Well, we have to do. We
Does
also
the renter have rights?
of course,
the-
yeah.
the
They have
renter
more
has-
rights than anybody.
Good.
Yes, the renter has rights, and I'm happy that they have rights
Yeah.
because you shouldn't take advantage of. I used to rent, and I don't want anyone
Yeah, I used
house
to
on
rent
me.
too. Yeah, you don't want people harassing you when you're renting a house.
Yeah, so you have to work with the rent. In that case, you work with the buyer, the seller, and the renter.
Right.
You have
And
to
you organize a
communicate.
time that's convenient for
The
that
renter.
renter.
Right.
You don't want to inconvenience a renter. because-
Usually, you say, "Hey, listen, we're going to do a couple open houses here. Let's get a day or two during the week, and we'll have certain hours, and we can only show it at that time. So, and we'll let you go and have a lunch, and maybe the sellers. The sellers.
Well,
will
the
pay
reason
for
why
it.
this is important is because there's an eviction moratorium that goes into October.
Well, this is because of the COVID, but it wasn't always like this. But
no,
we
but
could
here's
talk
what-
about the
so,
COVID.
So here's what's happening. Sellers are selling their homes with renters in place, and we do
Right.
that all the time. And people are buying the house and go, all right,
Correct.
I can have somebody
Right.
in there for 6 months or
There's
so.
some when you
So wait, what you're saying is that as long as my husband's paying rent,
Yes,
that I could
Yeah, you can leave them.
you can leave them.
just
Yes.
want to.
In fact,
so
you
I
have to leave them.
understand.
Yes, leave them in there. He probably
Okay, good.
He may be a good investment for the buyer.
Now, there are certain things that this form suggests that you investigate for, and one of them is geological hazards. Now, Frank, explain what the NHD is, or that report. You
The
can
NHC is a natural hazards disclosure, and what that is a pamphlet that's made from a third party that we give to the buyer that gives them all the natural hazards. So in California, you can name a few. What would be, Jesse? Come on.
come on.
There's a volcano in my basement.
No, but there could be. Well, there could be
Maybe.
La Brea tar pits. Maybe get some tar. But I'm not sure about a
Earthquakes,
volcano.
maybe?
No, you can
Earthquakes is a good-
volcanoes is probably disclosure in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like you live at the bottom of a volcano,
That's
they probably
true.
have to say, "Hey, you might have lava coming down here someday."
That's
Yeah.
true for sure, 100%.
but in California, I'll tell you what it.
Well,
There's,
he had one. He said
is it?
earthquakes.
Earthquake?
oh yeah,
Earthquake.
yeah.
What's another?
Fires,
Fires.
Fires. Good one.
flooding.
Flooding.
Yes,
Yes.
So
you get an A.
how do you know if you're in an earthquake zone, a fire zone, or a flood zone?
Your house shakes. You smell smoke, and
You're underwater at the
And
same
you're underwater.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, well, you.
You get
Hey,
the
that's
form.
wait. That's just Friday night for me.
Oh.
We're all hanging out with Maria this week.
You make me laugh.
So here's what happens. There's no way a seller can know if they're close or on an earthquake fault line, or are they in a fire zone? They might think they are. So what we do is we provide them with something called the Natural Hazard Disclosure Report that's going to delineate all of the
Fault lines.
hazards that are natural. But there are some hazards that are not natural. For example, did you know in certain areas of San Diego County there's a unexploded munitions disclosure? Because the Marines used to shoot.
I think it was the Army.
Yeah, was it the Army?
I think so.
One of the branches of the military would shoot bombs into.
Wasn't that Camp Kearney would shoot him?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, what area was that? It was an area in San Diego, and some of these ordinances didn't explode.
Now
So-
they did. So this happened many years ago.
Right.
A kid was digging and he accidentally found a bomb and it blew up.
Yeah,
and it was bad results. But what happened was the military did do a huge
Right.
assessment, and they think they got all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so but you can only go with. You still want to be careful, right?
Yeah,
So
well, it's a
how do you
disclosure.
find
You have to
everything?
tell
It's a
them.
disclosure. So
Yeah.
if you're digging a swimming pool in Tirisana and you hear a big ding ding and see metal and something that looks like a bomb, stop digging.
Yeah, no
Good
more
advice.
digging. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that's a
That's
non-hazard. I mean, a non-natural
Here's
disclosure.
a big one that people that have to do. They have to disclose if they had mold. So let's say a person had a flood and they had mold in the house. They should disclose that. But is mold bad, Frank?
Well, it depends. There's all sorts of. There's industrial mold. There's mold in the air that you breathe every day that doesn't do anything. There's certain types of mold that could have a bad,
Reaction?
A bad reaction.
Yeah.
To breathing.
Screw up your
mold
respiratory.
mold can kill you if you have black mold in your
Well,
house.
there's mold.
That can kill
Okay,
you.
have you ever
Got
had?
it?
There's mold in cheese. Do you eat cheese?
Delicious gorgonzola mold.
There you
I
go.
eat moldy cheese.
Yeah. So,
Hey, listen.
Blue
I'm
cheese.
I'm allergic to penicillin, so I don't do any of that.
Exactly.
So
I
if there's
know.
certain type of mold that you can get tested that has spores that once they go airborne, they're actually found in warm, moist areas like under the sink. And if you have that type of black mold, you want to get out of there, and you have professionals come in and.
But the thing is that the seller needs to disclose, hey, I had a leak or whatever. I had something that looked like mold. But you don't know. Mold and fungus look the same.
Mold, fungus, and all sorts of stuff. And sometimes mold can be invisible, so you can get it tested. And there's specialists that go in there and they just do a whole mold test. It goes into a third-party lab, and they tell you whether or not you have mold.
Called a mold inspection. You know. How about this? Do you have to disclose if you had a pet?
I'm going to say yes.
You do. Can you imagine?
What if it was a moldy pet? You really need to disclose that.
Exactly.
Old moldy cat.
Do you remember that guy Tiger? Remember Tiger King? They sold his house. I think.
Oh yeah.
He had a lot of pets.
He had a
Frank,
lot of
Frank,
mold,
you know
too.
somebody who has a zebra
Yeah.
Really?
You do?
I do.
in San Diego. As a-
Zebra. I know
an
people
alpaca. Does it have an-
alpacas. They have camels. Well, they sell camels in Ramona, don't they? Ostriches are in Ramona.
Yeah, I've
Okay,
seen
but
ostriches.
wait. Isn't this about animals that are inside the house?
That's correct. Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
disclose it. Why would you have to
The-
disclose that?
Would a zebra be inside the house?
Yeah. Is it a domesticated zebra?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
mean,
it was
does
outside.
it fetch?
No, zebras cannot be domesticated, so that would not have.
But
to
I've
be
seen
disclosed.
these baby ponies, these tiny ponies,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
people have
Arnold-
them as pets.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has a pet pygmy donkey. Look it on YouTube.
That's no way.
Yeah, he does.
No
inside
way.
Yes,
his
in his
house?
house. Look it under, everybody.
You
Look
sure
under.
it's an
a
indoor
Pygmy
donkey?
donkey.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, pygmy donkey. Look it up right now.
Maybe it's an indoor-outdoor pygmy donkey.
No, it's indoor. That guy.
Does it have a little
He
door?
watches
Is
the
there a
dude
little
lift
pygmy
weights. I
door?
saw it on some TikTok.
No.
I hope it's real.
Maybe. Frank,
Wow.
I just want to tell you
Okay.
something.
What?
I'll be back.
He had to disclose
I'll
that.
be back.
We have to do that. Okay, you have to disclose
Sarah
any
Connor.
soil issues you have. What's a soil issue, Frank?
It's called potable. Like there's issues where you can be on.
Maria's going to say something funny.
I'm sorry. I was thinking Taco Bell, but that's
Yeah, that's our senior radio show we had last week for the soil.
The
But
zebra
anyway,
soiled the house.
there's certain areas like Mount Soledad that's made of mostly sandstone, so that you can have a lot of slippage. And there's been a couple houses that have fallen off the top, so they have to be checked out. So they do a soil sample, which gets the compaction rate, the potability, and they burn it to see whether or not it's suitable to build something on, as opposed to like Mount Helix. If you look at Granite Hills, the reason why they call that area Granite Hills is because the hills are made out of granite, and you don't have those type of issues because it's solid rock. So you definitely want to check the soil if there's a problem, or if you live by an edge, a canyon, or like off a cliff.
You know, sometimes we sell homes, not sometimes, pretty often we sell homes that have wells. You have to disclose the well.
I mean, you should. It's a bonus
Right.
if you have a well. It's not something you have to
Yeah.
disclose, but you have a well underneath, correct? You have
That's
the-
a common thing that people
Oh,
have
yeah.
wells?
Oh, a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of people,
Yeah.
then they're
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
all over in the East County, there's wells, and they have.
Yeah.
If you get solar now, you can do it really good because you got the solar doing the pump, so you have electrical pump pulling up the water. Some wells are running dry though because we have this serious drought, so they're having to dig. 400 feet will be dry, then you got to go to 500. So eventually, it becomes not good to have a well if it's dried up. So there's some areas that are not having the right water tables anymore, and that's because everyone's making their house flow the water away. So now they're actually making you flow the water towards your house and stay on your property through different types of tanks that you have to put, so the water goes back in the ground, so they can have groundwater.
Yep.
And you learn about all this when you're selling properties in East Coast, equestrian properties, farmhouses.
Not East Coast, East County.
Oh, did I say East Coast?
Yeah, because that would be where
Oh, West Florida. We don't want East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, this is
Maria,
East-
do you have a well?
yeah.
I have so many wells.
Yeah,
Well,
I like
Mar- not a will for
Thank
your
you for
husband.
disclosing that.
Yes.
I appreciate
I
it.
like to have more than one, just in case.
There's so many zebras running around her wells.
Hey, you know what's kind of something
Another
else?
thing is a septic tank. Since you're talking about wells.
Okay, what about it?
Yeah,
What is a septic tank?
So most people,
Frank,
that-
what is a septic tank?
it's a tank that's under the water that when you flush your toilet, it goes into a tank as opposed to being attached to the public
Did you flush
sewer.
this toilet?
So it stays in your property, and then the tank has these things that call leach lines, and when the water comes above a certain level, it actually goes through these tubes and waters your area of your land, and those are called leach lines.
Really?
There's no pollution in the leach lines. These are the water that flows up, and then they have enzymes eating all the poop and stuff in there. But it's a tank
Yeah.
that you got to take care of. So
It's
if you
called-
live on top of a hill
Right.
and you can't plumb it all the way up there for the city, and you live by boulders, you get a septic tank. They're all over the place too, and they're not bad.
So wait, this is like soiling in the soil.
Yes.
Yes, soiling the soil, and it's usually with an orchard, and a lot of you can feed a lot of fruit-producing vegetation from the leach
Here's
lines.
another thing the seller has to disclose to the buyer if they have had a room addition with or without permits. And why is it important to know if you have permits or not?
Well,
I guess it could fall apart if it had no
no,
permits,
not
maybe.
the big issue is that when you have home insurance and you have a room that's added that's not under your home insurance policy, and that fire starts an electrical panel inside of the unpermitted area, you will not be insured. They
Right.
will not cover it. So you want to make sure that if anything happens in that house and it affects the whole house, but what you could do now, because the city is being pretty lenient because of all the stuff going on with the house is so expensive and no inventory, is if you have something that's not permitted, you can get it permitted with a general contractor for fairly cheap as long as it meets the codes, which is like electrical, make sure the windows are double pane. You get
So here's what sometimes some people will add. If you add 1,000 square feet onto your house, this city reassesses your house. The county will do a reassessment. You have to pay more taxes. You have to pay
Yeah,
Right.
did you know
taxes
that?
on. But if you don't say anything,
Right.
you're skipping out on paying taxes on 1,000 square feet of your house. So
Right.
sometimes,
Which we don't recommend.
yeah, don't do that.
Right.
That's bad.
Yeah, but you might need that 1,000 feet because where are you going to put the zebra?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a real concern.
Here's what
I
they're
know
doing right now.
it seems like the answer would be black and white, but if
That's funny.
So I can tell you this is a really weird thing that some people don't know about, the realtors and people in general, and it's called deed restrictions. So in some areas of San Diego and Point Loma, La Jolla, Point Loma, anywhere where there's a hill, oftentimes the owner in a house that's higher on the hill will ask the person of the house below them, say, listen, will you put a deed restriction on your house restricting you from ever building a second story so my view will never be removed?
And they can pay them like 50 G's or whatever.
Whatever they think it's worth.
And now that the next person who buys a house has a deed restriction on
Yeah,
it.
and they don't know, and so they go buy the house. They go, this is cool. We got such a good price. We're going to build a second story, and look what our view's going to be like.
Right.
And then they find out, ooh, no. And
They
the only
wouldn't find
person that
out
can
until
remove
afterwards?
that. Yeah, well, that's why we're saying you have to disclose it. It's a disclosure. You
Yeah,
know?
and you have to check the preliminary title report and all the deeds. So you want to look at the deed and read it.
That's something you don't want to find out afterwards. But the person who lives
It
behind
could be
you,
contested if the person behind you passes away and he's the one who put the restriction or asked you to put the restriction.
sometimes. Well, there's
So
a lot of
that's
things
when a
about-
real estate attorney gets involved.
Hey, this is one. You have to disclose, Jesse. You have to disclose if the house was ever a meth lab.
Oh, good. That's
Like
probably a good thing.
Yeah, like breaking. No, I'm serious because those chemicals are really bad for you to breathe.
Worse
Remember?
than mold. It's like blue mold. So
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
that's
yeah.
has that ever happened
Maybe-
to you guys before? Where you've had a meth lab that you're trying to sell as a house?
We've we had some that we suspected could be, but there was no
Disclosure.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
didn't-
that was really out there in the middle of nowhere, you know. But we saw those blue tubs and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
you could pretty much.
yeah.
what about if you what about if it was just a distillery? What if you were just know?
Oh yeah.
What I mean, would
Just
you have to
making
disclose that? What if you were? What if you were
Moonshiners.
just? Yeah. What if you were just like a wacky tobacco lab? What about that?
Dave's
not here.
Here's what it says.
Marijuana?
Right here.
Do you have to
marijuana,
disclose- yeah.
cannabis, and methamphetamine labs. You have to disclose it.
Yeah, things are a little bit different since
Little bit
cannabis
different
is,
now, you
is
know?
legal, that you can get a marijuana. If you get a doctor to prescribe your drugs, even though it's legal, you can grow up to a certain amount of plants. So
But-
you can grow weed now.
What about if the? I know this is maybe off topic, but what if the house is haunted? Do you have to disclose that?
Ooh, we talked about this a few times ago, Jesse.
Oh, yeah.
So Mark and I, we sold a house. Mark, you want to tell them that without
sold a
naming?
haunted house?
We sold a house,
and apparently
at
the
the
person
last second.
the person got a better offer, and so they sent us this big disclosure that said our
By the
house
way,
is haunted and
we're being attacked.
there's
at night.
ghosts that are beating me up at night, and it was just like,
Really?
yeah, it was. I mean, I still have it. It's kind of a weird document,
Yes.
and we
Yeah.
told the people about it. We disclosed it. We go, hey, these people say the house is haunted, and they go, oh, we don't care.
We don't care.
We'll take it, you know.
So they
And
didn't
so,
care.
No,
didn't care.
you do have to. That's called a material fact, and what you want to do is disclose it. So if you see like spirits, or if you have a problem, you do have to disclose it.
Hey,
It seems like it might be a material fact about a non-material thing. It seems
Yeah.
like a material
Exactly.
fact.
a lot
Yeah.
of
See,
material.
material fact seems like a really weird thing to call a ghost
Hey,
problem.
we have to disclose something right now. We have to disclose how to get a hold of Maria Herman. How do we?
wait? Are we already done with this show? We have.
We're
this
close.
is a 15
That was so
page
fast.
report, and we
We
only
got-
did like
we got
2
through page
pages.
2.
The document's too long.
Yes.
This document's way too long. Okay, so Maria Herman, we want to, not just tell us about Comedy Heist, but where is it located and how we can actually go to a live show, because people have been trapped in their house forever. We need comedy relief. They need to come out to your show.
Even if it's haunted.
Fridays, it's definitely haunted.
Mm-hmm.
I may not always be there, but I'm there
That's
in
okay.
spirit.
Yeah.
Fridays
Nice.
at Bay Bridge Brewing in Chula Vista, 8:00, and then Saturdays in the Green Room next to Twigs Park in Madison in University Heights. And that's our show that's been going for 10 years, and it's going gangbusters right now.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
I was
love that
born and
show.
raised in San Diego, and if you haven't been out to Chula Vista lately, you'll be impressed. The Chula Vista, they have done so
That's
much to their
awesome.
city. That city is insane. It's incredible. So I definitely go there. Okay, Jesse, how do we get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on all social media at Jesse Egan Comedy. And if you feel like checking out my comedy special, it's on drybar.com.
Drybar.com. That is
Drybar
a
Comedy.
yeah. Go online and check it out. Check out Jesse and Mark. How do we get a hold of the Powell brothers?
Well, okay, you can get a hold of us by looking us up online at powellbrothersrealty.com, or you can call us at 858-922-7725. But before we sign off, we just want to explain one thing. If you're looking to buy or sell a house and you want to get some competent realtors, give us a call.
Give us a call.
We know what we're doing, and
we will direct you,
and
in
we
the
will
right
take you
path.
through the statewide buyers and sellers advisory, and we promise
Word by word.
we won't
We're
take
word
8
by
hours.
word,
Yeah,
right.
we won't take 8 hours to do it.
7.5.
because this is a big one.
So My Funny House with the Powell Brothers on YouTube, that you can see us live and what we do in studio. That's pretty fun. So go on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If
oh
you
yeah,
can
that's
get
right.
on
Thumbs
there.
up. We have to start
Thank
saying
you.
that too.
Hey, thanks you all for listening this week.
See you
again,
next week.
and all of our people that are dedicated followers. Thank you so
guys.
much.
Take it easy.
Take care.
Thanks so much for joining us today for My Funny House with the Powell Brothers, right here on The Answer San Diego. Join us next week as the Powell Brothers bring you more funny stories of what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership, and bring the laughs to you with yet another hilarious guest comedian. To find out more about the Powell Brothers, be sure to check out their website at powellbrothersrealty.com, or you can visit myfunnyhouse.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next week for My Funny House on The Answer San Diego.